To better understand the Bitcoin blockchain, let's first take a look at how banks work. Imagine you're at a table with a bunch of people and there's someone in charge. We'll call them the banker. The banker tracks everything that happens at the table in their ledger, which is just a notebook that has all the information on how much money everyone has, date of transaction, etc. This is all pretty convenient, so everyone pays the banker a small fee for their service. Which brings us to point one. Banks are permissioned, so they need to do a background check. See ID, income, social security number, etc. before they even allow you onto the table. Yeah, I just want to sit down.
Hey, you can't just come and play. You have to get the banker's permission.
Sir, I'll need to see some ID.
I don't have ID right now. I just want to
get out. This is your final warning.
Point number 2. In this system, power is centralized. The banker's got everyone's info in one central place, his ledger, and the banker can deny moves based on whatever policy they want. Over time, as the banker grew too big to fail, he let the power and greed go to his head and basically started gambling with people's money. Eventually, the people had enough and started trying to pull out their money.
Can we get our money back, please?
Sorry, not sorry.
This is nothing.
That's it.
You got some.
Dumbfounded, the people decided to protest and occupy the banker.
We won't go. Crooked banks. Crooked banks.
However, the banker called in his police friend again, and he cleared the protesting people off of him.
You stole it! Give it back!
Final warning.
You're the worst!
Having lost all their money and faith in the banking system, the people had mad trust issues, and some decided to experiment with a new type of computer money called Bitcoin, where you didn't need to trust a bank or anyone else. Now that we've covered banks, let's look at the Bitcoin blockchain. With Bitcoin, there is no banker keeping records in a centralized notebook. Instead, each person tracks everybody's moves on their own piece of paper. Things are decentralized. When making a move, each person announces it publicly so that everyone else can hear it and note it down.
Chester will send to Cornelius $100 at 8:30 a.m. today.
We acknowledge.
If someone tries to lie or cheat, everyone at the table can easily see this and calls them out on it.
I, Cornelius, have attained $1 million.
Denied.
You're full of crap.
Point number 2. Bitcoin is a network of digital money, so its constitution or rules are written in computer code. And since everyone keeps a record of this code on their own, to take down the system, you can't just hack one person. You have to hack into everyone's records, which is pretty much impossible. The other point is that Bitcoin is just a number. It's a digital record that everyone agrees upon, and that there is no physical coin.
What about this? I got this from the guy down the street for $25K in January 2018.
Yeah, that's a novelty item, and you got scammed. Point number 3. Permissionless. Since there's no banker here checking IDs, anyone can join and leave whenever they want. In fact, you don't even have to use your real name. This opens up finance to a lot of people around the world who may not necessarily have access to banks, but also invites fraudsters and scammers who could lie about their identity. Point number 4. Once people fill up a page with transactions, it's time to come to an agreement or consensus. Because there is no banker, everyone has to agree on the same version of the truth before moving on. This process, though, is taking a while and people are getting tired. They could hire an accountant or someone else to reconcile all their records, but they don't really like the idea of handing over that much power to a single person after what happened with the banker.
Hey, why don't we keep it decentralized and call out to anyone interested in verifying information in exchange for a small amount of our money?
Except it's not small money, it's big money, and people are interested. We'll call them miners. The first one of you to look over everyone's records, make sure they all match up, and yell bingo when done, will get a bunch of newly minted Bitcoin. This is a key rule in the Bitcoin Constitution.
That's 1 and 2. Thank you.
We are.
Bingo! Verified that.
Uh-oh, looks like there's a problem. A scammer has arrived and is falsely claiming bingo to cheat and get the Bitcoin first without doing any of the work. Which brings us to point number 5, proof of work. All right. To stop this from happening, Bitcoin gives these folks some busy work to do. In this case, by solving a math puzzle before shouting out bingo. And the puzzle kind of works like this. For example, figure out the specific sequence of numbers that add up to 10. It could be anything, right? 3331. It could be 10 ones, or it could be 5 twos. The point is, you have to guess through each of them and solve that sequence before yelling out bingo. Otherwise, no one's gonna listen to you. This is what Bitcoin mining is. If you've seen those huge data centers full of machines, they're just giant calculators reconciling records, but mostly racing through different combinations to solve the puzzle first so that they can get some newly minted Bitcoin. Every single Bitcoin that's out there now, out of the maximum of 21 million, has been generated as a reward for making sure everyone's records are correct. Spending time and energy upfront on this busy work, this proof of work requirement, stops the spammers and liars, and it becomes in the miner's best interest to do the verification job honestly. Point number 6, permanence. Once someone verifies records, solves the puzzle, and yells bingo,
I got first bingo.
The other miners do a quick check to see if the records are right. Then the winner officializes their copy, in this case by laminating it, and hands out copies to everyone at the table. These moves are now permanent or immutable. There's no undoing them, and they've become part of the official history of Bitcoin. So what happens next? Well, everyone pulls out a new piece of paper for the next round and makes transactions until that page or block is full, at which point they pass it off to the miners to check. Then the miners verify, run through the combinations to solve the puzzle, call out bingo to receive Bitcoin, and laminate block number 2 to make it official. Then we make copies, pass them out so that everyone has the same version of the truth, then staple or chain the blocks in order to create a chain of blocks. A blockchain. This keeps going forever, basically. Or until climate change kills us all. Hopefully, you now see the spirit in which Bitcoin came to be and some of the key differences between it and banks. Banks are centralized, fast, and simple to use, but easily corruptible and not transparent. Bitcoin is decentralized, slow, and complicated to use, but not easily corrupted and very transparent. Bitcoin was revolutionary because it proved for the first time that systems with the right incentives could replace trusted middlemen and actually work in the real world. You didn't have to take the banker's word for it anymore. You could do better and trust the majority of people on the network and the process behind it, the blockchain. And if you're still lost, don't worry, I don't really get all of this either. But that's the end of this video, so don't forget to subscribe, yo. Peace.
Money moves.
I did not have economic relations with that banking system.